Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, and it's so good to have you join us. I'm Chidima Olariwaju. Whether you are connecting from Abuja, from London, from China, or anywhere else in the world, thank you for gracing us with your presence. I'm your host for tonight's Fireside Chat series, our pre-summit conversations designed to help you accelerate your career journey. Now, over the past 4 weeks, we've been on a powerful journey of growth, insight, and transformation, and it's been nothing short of extraordinary. In week 1, we kicked off with the career acceleration mindset, laying the foundation for how to think your way to the next level. And guess what? In week 2, we took things another notch higher with the career compound effect, revealing how consistent actions lead to massive breakthroughs. And guess what? Week 3 was nothing short of amazing, where we also exceeded our expectations as we explored emotional intelligence, the secret sauce to thriving in the workplace. Week 4 brought us a masterclass on balance, showing us how to stand out without burning out. And here we are now in week 5. Come on, drum rolls. I'm excited to be your host for week 5 because we are ready for yet another deep dive. Yes, this time on pivoting with power. Now, if you have been with us from the start, welcome back. And if you are just joining in, you are right on time and you're in the perfect place. Now, we have quite a number of persons joining in online. I can see Mr. Israel Odrade. Thank you so much for coming online. I can also see Mr. Gideon. Thank you so much for joining online. Now, if you have been with us from the start, I'm sure you have great testimonials. I'm sure you have lots of feedback. Please feel free to write your feedback in the chat box below. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered how to switch careers? And have you ever, thought switching careers is going to be difficult for you, especially if you're starting from scratch? You're in the right room. Do you know why? Because we have a remarkable guest who has mastered the art of reinvention. Yes, her name is Mrs. Olajumoke, and she's here. She has made a remarkable career pivot, from anti-money laundering to cybersecurity. And in so doing, she has become a powerful example of how transferable skills, how the use of strategic networking, and lifelong learning can open entirely new doors. And she's here to share how she has done it. She's here to share what she did and how you can also thrive in a new industry without losing momentum. Trust me, you are in for a great, great treat. So grab your notepads, make sure to invite a loved one, make sure to invite a friend, even your enemy, yes, because they are sure to get value, And most importantly, I need you to engage, ask as many questions as possible, and make the most of this session. We're going to get started very soon, but before we do that, I'm going to be reading our guest profile in the next few minutes, but make sure you share this live broadcast. Do well to call a friend, phone a friend, tell them Fireside Chat series is on live right now, So I'm going to be reading very quickly the profile of our remarkable speaker. Her name is Olajumoke Danjuma, and she's currently a cybersecurity professional at Sublime Security. She has a background as an anti-money laundering investigator with a strong foundation in AML risk analytics and a passion for maintaining high-quality standards in compliance. Her journey began with a Bachelor of Science in Economics from Rutgers University, which had laid the groundwork for her analytical skills. Olajumoke Danjuma is currently pursuing a Master of Liberal Arts in Cybersecurity at Harvard University, where she's deepening her understanding of the digital landscape. Her professional experience included a role at Guidehouse, where she had honed her skills in identifying red flags, conducting thorough investigations, and ensuring adherence to BSA-FI regulations. She's a CAMS certified, which underscored her commitment to excellence in the field. Her role in the cybersecurity industry has allowed her to expand her expertise in email fraud prevention and threat analysis. Olajumoke Danjuma is driven by a commitment to integrity and has a keen eye for details in all her endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me, you are in for a great, great treat. Like I said, do well to grab your notepads and make it rain, okay, with emojis of how you are feeling, of how excited you are to be welcoming our remarkable guest of honor, Olanjumeke Danjuma. Please let's make her feel welcome as she comes on stage. The next voice and the next face you'll be seeing right now is no other person but one lady who I admire so, so much, beautiful inside and out, Mrs. Olajumoke Danjuma. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mrs.
Hi,
Olajumoke.
everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Can you
we
guys
can
hear
hear you
me?
loud and clear.
Can you
Yes.
hear me? Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Olajumoke Danjuma, and I am excited and happy to be here today to not just share knowledge, but also hear from you guys, and also learn from you guys. So I'm super excited to be here, and I cannot wait to share, the knowledge I have with you guys today. So today I'm going to be speaking on pivoting with power, and I'm going to be touching on 3 points: transferable skills, intentional networking, and continuous learning. Now, in the sorry, there's a chat room, right, where people are putting in comments, right?
Yes, there is.
Okay. I just want to ask a question, and I need people to just type in and you just give me like one or two things that they say. Does anyone have an idea of how, like, what I mean by transferable skills? So I'm throwing this to the audience, just on the chat, just throwing something in there. Okay, so if anyone has said, can you just like read out like one or two of what people like, what their idea is of that? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. No one
Okay.
has said anything yet.
No one has said anything. Okay. All
No.
right, that's fine. You want me to go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So when we talk about transferable skills, so these are skills that grow with you no matter where you go. Like in any industry you're in, you have your problem solving skills, you have leadership skills, you have communication skills. All those skills or whatever you use where you are can always be transferred if you're trying to pivot into another industry. Employers value the ability to use these skills, across industries. So I always tell people, if you're trying, for example, I'm going to use myself as an example, and I'm going to tell my own story in this aspect. I was in the AML field. What did I do there? I was an investigator, and I investigated people's accounts to make sure people are not laundering money. Now, I wanted to pivot into cybersecurity. In cybersecurity is very broad, but the domain I was looking at was email security. So I asked myself, how am I going to try? I don't have experience in cybersecurity. I don't have experience in this field. How can I showcase my skills, like what I have already? How can I transfer it into cybersecurity? Like, how can I relate it? Now, I used to investigate accounts, I investigate transactions. How did I key that into email security? Going into email security, you investigate emails. So of course, if I can investigate transactions, I already have the skills to be able to investigate. So I'm transferring that over. That's a transferable skill. Communication as well. How well do you communicate with people? When you're having an interview, the interviewer can already pick that. So if you have good skills in communicating, leverage on it. So anything you're already using where you are is a lot of things, not everything. A lot of things are transferable. You just have to find a way to connect it. So that's the aspect of, transferable skills. Now, networking. I always tell people Don't wait until you need people before you reach out to them. Be intentional about your community. Be intentional about social media. Be intentional about things like LinkedIn. Be intentional about your colleagues, your co-workers, the people you meet every day. Use people. Don't just leave people as a contact on your phone. You need to use them as bridges. That's what I tell people. Now, in terms of networking, I'm going to say a backstory of how networking helped me pivot from AML into cybersecurity. I woke up one morning and I realized that the AML field, I wasn't going to go too far. It was going to be very hard for me to attain the level in which I saw myself. So I said, you know what? What can I do to enhance my knowledge already? Like, what can I do to get me into positions that I want to be in AML? I looked for a way, I did my research. It would have taken me years. I interviewed people like my bosses, and it took these people 25 years to get where they are. And I wasn't going to spend 25 years. I'm not willing to put 25 years to get where I want to get to. So I said, you know what? What other area can I connect AML to? Already I investigate. Already I do elderly fraud. How is elderly fraud connected to cybersecurity? How is it connected to email security? I was able to connect it. I sat down and I said, oh my God, I don't have any experience in cybersecurity. How am I going to break into this industry? First of all, I don't like people. Human beings are not my favorite species. But I had to be honest with myself. I needed to come out of my shell. I needed to come out of my box. I needed to be honest with myself. I looked around. I don't have anyone in the cybersecurity industry. I went on LinkedIn and I said something to myself. I said, you know what? I'm just going to type in cybersecurity, people that work in that field, and I'm going to look through the list, and anybody my mind feels I should reach out to. This is a true life story. I would reach out to the person. And I did exactly that. I found some girl, different people, but once I saw the girl's picture, I was like, you know what? The exact role that would have been an entry-level role is what she's in right now. I would send her a message. I don't know this person from anywhere. I typed out a message telling her my background, telling her what I was interested in, and if she could like hold my hand, like tell me what she thinks I need to do. I was like, you know what? I hate hearing no. And I'll give you a backstory. I'm from a background where my father never told me no. But the world was a wake-up call for me because you're going to hear a lot of no's. So I told myself, I need to get used to no. I was like, you know what? If she replies, fine. If she doesn't answer me, it's fine. She doesn't know me. I sent her a message. By morning, she replied. And she explained to me, she was like, oh, you could do this, you could do that, you could take this certification, you could read on this, you could do your research. I was very thankful. And then we exchanged numbers. And she said, you're a 973 number, but you said you live in Houston. I said, yes, because I lived in New Jersey. She was like, oh, I lived in New Jersey. And we struck a conversation from there. During the conversation, I was like, oh, thank you very much. And then she goes, do you want me to refer you? The same way you're reaching out to me was how I reached out to somebody in the company and the person referred me. I was like, of course, why not? She said, send me your resume. And I did. I sent her my resume. She sent me a link because internal referrals are faster. She sent me a link. I applied. I kept waiting. I didn't hear from anybody. I kept checking up. Like, I'll reach out to her. How are you doing? I haven't heard from them. She's like, oh, it might take a while. Just be a little bit patient. And one day, a recruiter reached out to me, set up my first interview, second interview, third interview, fourth interview. I went through 5 rounds. No, four rounds. I got the job. No experience in cybersecurity. I was able to link what I had done in AML to connect it to cybersecurity. I got the job. 4 months after, I had to let it go because of personal issues. I had emergencies. I had to let the job go because I was still doing my AML and I was doing the cybersecurity, but the cybersecurity was in the evening. It was a lot of pressure on me, so I had to let it go. I let it go. 8 months, 6 to 8 months later, I lost my job. When I lost my job, I said, okay, this was the reason why I said I needed to do something else, because the AML world was it was crumbling and I saw it coming. I reached out to the girl again. Already we kept in touch, and that's why I said intentional relationships. You don't just get what you want and don't reach out. You need to check in. If you have to put in your calendar, check in on the person. Don't wait for people or when you want something. So I reached out to her again. I said, oh, I lost my job. Is it possible for me to come back into the company? Because I left on a good note. She said, oh, unfortunately, she's not there anymore. I said, oh, wow. Okay, do you still know anybody there? She said, oh, she doubts it, but I can take a try, which I did not. I just said, you know what? I would go into other things. I would try other things. So that I bake on the side. I started taking my baking seriously, but I was like, you know what? I'm really interested in cybersecurity. And I want to know more. I want to do it. So I went on LinkedIn checking for jobs. I applied over 100 jobs and no response. One day, the same girl reached out to me and said, Ola, because they call me Ola in America. Ola, are you still looking for a job? I said, yeah. She said, there's a company, there's a startup. I'll send you a link. Reach out to them. I did that exactly. And that's my current role today. So networking is very important. Come out of your shell. Do what you have to do. If you have to go on LinkedIn and reach out to people that you don't know, let me tell you something. She was not the only one I reached out to, but she was the only one that replied. I think I must have reached out to like 4 or 5 people, but she was the only one that replied. So take your networking seriously. Relationships open the door that only your resume might not be able to open. So please take relationships, please take networking seriously. It would help you a lot, a whole lot. Now, my next point would be continuous learning. How did I use continuous learning to pivot into cybersecurity? In the process of waiting, I went online. I hear a lot of people say, oh, school is expensive, certificates are pricey, these courses, I have other priorities. You need to ask yourself a question. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Because I can rest assure you that if you have a heart attack today, you find the money to go to the hospital. So how bad do you want it? I went online. I decided I was going to do a master's. Could I afford it at that point? No, that's the truth. So the first thing I did was to go online, and the school I was interested in doing my master's in offered a free course, Introduction to Cybersecurity. If anybody here is interested, Harvard has a free course, Introduction to Cybersecurity. It's a $3,600 course for free. So the resources are out there. If only you do the work. Go online and search. If only you do the work. You need to put in the work. There's nothing that is really free because your time is money. So you need to put in the work. And I'll go back to even my AML. How did I get into AML? Learning. When I had my last baby, I told myself I was going to dedicate my breastfeeding time at night Because trust me, boy, that boy did not sleep at night. He kept me awake. So I would be breastfeeding and I will put on YouTube on my TV. I'll connect my phone to YouTube on my TV. And that was how I was listening to videos on AML. I had never done it before. My first, second, third interviews, my first interview was actually my first contract, and I had never done it before. Everything I learned was from YouTube. I was lucky because the company was desperate at that time. It was during COVID. So they didn't care if you had all the experience in the world. They just needed people because they had backlog. So there's a lot of information, resources, trainings on YouTube. A lot. If you decide you want to take a certification, fine. If you decide you want to go back to school, awesome. Going back to school, you can do it. A lot of people are scared. You need to do it afraid. Because I did it afraid. If I can do it with 5 kids, by the way, I'm a single mom of 5 kids, ranging between 13 and 4. When I started my master's, my last born was 3. You can do it. The time you spend on your phone scrolling away on Instagram and TikTok, you can invest that time into continuous learning. You can do it. So that's how I was able to use transferable skills, networking, and continuous learning to be able to pivot into from AML. AML stands for anti-money laundering, where I investigated people's transactions to make sure there was no form of money laundering, into cybersecurity, where I analyze threats, malicious emails to make sure you don't click on that malicious link and get your computer or your cell phone compromised. So those were the things that I used to be able to pivot. You can do it. You need to lean on your transferable skills as your foundation. You need to expand your reach through intentional networking. And you need to fuel your growth with continuous learning. We learn every day. You have to have a growth mindset. It's all about your mindset. You hear people say, oh, this is expensive. Oh, I don't have the time. How bad do you want it? I always tell people, if you don't want it that bad, it means you don't want it. Stop being your reason or your excuse not to get to the next level. A lot of people already have the mindset of, you already feel it's not going to happen before you even start. That already has defeated you. So if you want to do something, if you want to pivot with power onto the next level, moving from one industry to the other, you need to have a growth mindset. You need to have a growth mindset, and it's doable if that is what you want. So yeah, so those are the 3 points I have today. Invest in your relationships, invest in continuous learning, and lean on your transferable skills from whatever industry you're in today as your foundation into moving. Thank you. I can't hear you.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Man, it's been a
I can hear you now.
powerful session. I promised our online viewers that they were in for an amazing treat. And this was way beyond amazing. This was phenomenal. Thank you so much, Mrs. Olajumoke. I mean, you're a very inspirational person. Thank you. You know, when remember I told you earlier on that you're a very beautiful person in and out. Now I see why, because I mean, it stems from within. Thank you for shedding so much value, as in from uncovering the value of transferable skills to learning how to pivot with purpose. I mean, today's conversation has been nothing short of inspiring. I want to say a very big thank you to you for sharing practical guides, you know, for sharing your wisdom, for sharing practical strategies for navigating bold career moves. We're going to just take a short break because I know a lot of people have questions. And from our chat room, I can see so many people's feedbacks, you know, from so many things you have said. Someone says here, yes, invest in your relationship for your growth with continuous learning, invest in continuous learning. I mean, there's so much value that you have shared. Lean on your transferable skills. Somebody says, wow, I'm supercharged, you know, to do something different. Another person says, stop being your reason or your excuse not to move to the next level. Right. I mean, personally, I have learned a lot, and we are going to be taking a short break. The media has something to, you know, show us right now. But after the media is done, we'll come back with loads and loads of questions. So please don't go anywhere. Remember, this is Fireside Chat Series Season 5. We have been on continuous growth. We have been on a journey of continuous learning, and we have had Mrs. Olajumoke share how to pivot with power. So this is a very good opportunity to ask as much questions as you can. If you are stuck, if you are in a crossroad thinking of how to move on to the next level, if you need somebody to ginger you, I can see from her story, she said she's a single mom with 5 kids and that she has learned to do it afraid. So what are you waiting for? So we'll be back shortly. Please do not go anywhere. See you soon, guys.
abusing your customers. Hey, those voice notes. Customer will say 1, you will say 10. For what? It's a service. You serve. The customer is here, you are here, you deliver a service. How did I know all of this? I attended a customer service training some 3-4 years ago. Yeah, and it changed my business. Now, customers rate my customer service over 95%. I don't want to say 100%. I don't want to be proud. Yeah, but my customer service in this store, in this business, is something to reckon with. Because I'm intentional, so I invested in my business and went to find out what keeps a customer loyal. Do you want loyal customers? Invest in a customer service training today. Go to CAS Consults now. They trained me 3-4 years ago and I've been excelling. They are offering a customer service training in March. Sign up, put money in your business and see the changes you desire. If I'm a busy customer. Okay now.
Welcome back, guys. If you've been with us from the start, welcome back. And if you are just joining in, you are right on time and in the perfect place. This is Fireside Chat Series Season 5. Okay, it's our pre-summit conversations that we have been doing for the last 5 weeks. Okay, and the whole purpose is to help accelerate your career journey. Now, if you are here and you have wondered how to switch careers without starting from scratch, like I promised earlier on, I told you were in the right place because we just had an incredible guest who has mastered the art of reinvention. Okay, Mrs. Olajumoke made a remarkable change, pivot, okay, from anti-money laundering to cybersecurity. And in so doing, she has become a powerful example of how transferable skills, intentional networking, and lifelong learning can open entirely new doors. The last 20 minutes with her has been filled with so much learning, has been packed with so much value. And if you are here and you have questions, please feel free to engage in the chat room. The chat room is open. Just ask as much questions as you can. So I'll be sharing some of the questions that we have right now. Some people have some questions already. Can you hear me, Mrs. Olajumoke? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, I can.
So our first question right now, someone wants to know, how did building relationships with others support your career change? And what does smart networking mean to you personally? Should I read that again?
Yes, please.
Okay, she says, how did building relationships with others support your career change? And what does smart networking mean to you personally?
Okay, so if you've been listening to me, I'm sure you heard when I said the person that referred me into my entry into cybersecurity and also my present role was somebody I met on LinkedIn. Random. I have never seen her in person. We still speak on the phone. You know, I reach out to her. I am super thankful because she didn't have to.
Very true.
You know, so I am super thankful to her. I have it in my calendar to make sure I check in with her every 3 weeks. You have to be intentional. Every 3 weeks is in my calendar to check up on her, even if it's not a call. Christmas, I sent her a message. It started with Thanksgiving. I am thankful for you. Even if I don't have the job anymore, because at that time I left, I'm thankful for you because you gave me that hand to be able to break into this industry. Now, what does smart networking mean to me? Personally, it means being able to give value while trying to receive. It's not all about taking. A lot of people you just want. Oh, I want to meet this person. Oh, I want to network so that I will be able to get something. No. If you're dealing with high value people, you need to be able to bring value to the table.
Very true.
We start with you working on yourself, enhancing your own skills, continuous learning, learn more. Why did I take the first intro to cybersecurity so that when I'm speaking to people in that industry, I would be able to relate with them. So for me, smart networking means you have to be able to give value as much as you're receiving.
Smart networking means you have to be able to give value as much as you want to be able to receive it.
Yeah.
So that means you have to be intentional about your own growth in order to become a valuable person, so that you don't always rub off on people as though you are a parasite. Wow, that's very insightful. So somebody else wants to know, somebody says, you are so big on lifelong learning, you're so big on intentional growth, but she wants to know, how can you keep learning new things while working full-time, okay, without feeling overwhelmed or burnt out? Because I can really relate to this.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. In the world or the area of growth, there will always be some level of being overwhelmed, and there will always be some level of you burning out. But how can you avoid burning out? You need to take breaks. You need to love yourself enough to know when to stop. You imagine running the car engine. Why do we service cars? You cannot keep running. You need to take your breaks. Now, balancing home, balancing continuous learning. Let me give you an example. I'm a full-time mom. People that live in America or US, abroad, you know that not everybody has a nanny. I don't have a nanny at the moment. In fact, for the past 18 months or 2 years, I haven't had a nanny. I'm a full-time mom. I'm in school this semester full-time, and I work full-time. But I need to create time for myself. I'm first, top priority. I'm even first before my kids. I hear people say my kids come first. My kids don't come first. I come first. Because I cannot pour out of an empty cup. I need to be full to the brim. So in between continuous learning, like in between life itself, how do you learn more? Sometimes for me, work. How do you learn new things? I search online. If work has, extra things like I could study or I could read in school, if there are new policies, I take out time. I read them. I won't lie to you, my favorite time to read those things are when I'm in the air, when I'm flying. So that's the time I create. Because this year is a lot of travel for me. So I've allocated the time to know that, you know what? I'm getting my Starbucks before I get on that plane. It's going to keep me up for another hour, 30 minutes. I'm going to invest this time into doing this. You need to be selfish with your time.
Very true.
And
one thing I also hear, yeah, very true. And one thing I also I'm hearing you say is self-love, okay? Because you cannot give out of an empty container, as in you have to be whole in order to be able to give out value.
Right, you can't. And
very true.
With people that know me, I know everybody here might not know me. It starts from within. And I feel like I say it all the time, I am borderline obsessed with myself. So it's a bit more than love.
Borderline obsessed with yourself.
Yes.
It exceeds self-love.
It's a bit more than loving myself.
Oh my word, I like that.
Yes. And that is just, if you like it or you don't, it's fine. But that is how I want to treat myself. Because that also lays the foundation of how people treat you.
Very true.
Or see you.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. I hope that answers the person's question.
It does. Thank you. Okay. It does. We have quite a number of more questions here. People have brought in questions. So someone wants to know, we have different personality types. We have those ones the sanguines, who can easily light up a room, who can easily light up conversations when they get into a new space. Then we have the flags, we have the melancholists, those ones who usually retreat into their shells before, they're able to just light up, start conversations. So somebody wants to know, if she is the shy type, how can she, break out of being very shy? How can she break out of that mentality of, oh, I can't start off a conversation, to network properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because, part of what you said, it was a bold move on your part to be able to reach out to people, because so many people are stuck in the rut of, oh, what would this person say? How would this person think? So how were you able to break out of that rut? How were you able to make that bold move, knowing probably that somebody else needs your help if he or she has a phlegm or melancholy tendency?
Okay, that's a great question. Now, for me, I go back to it goes back to the foundation of how bad do you want it? That for me, like that's always the foundation. How bad, where you're going, like what's the goal? Like what are you aligning what you're trying to get? Your why? What's your why? Like why do you want to break out of it?
That's it. Exactly.
Like
What's
why do
your
you want to break
why?
out of it? For me, people tell me I don't come across as shy, but I consider myself a very shy person. On a normal day, I would not come on this. This was a very bold step for me. Before I came on, I was already like, you know what? Maybe I should call Miss Folake and be like, I'm having a headache, because I started having a headache. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I want to do this. But now you have to try yourself.
Hmm.
And the first time I ever tried myself, I come on live, like voice, but not on video. I do a lot of voice, like maybe Instagram live or TikTok. I come on platforms, I talk, but maybe not on video. Now, the first time I ever did the video thing was when my company sent an email out and said, you know what, we are going on a company retreat and we would love to video employees. We would love to hear what you think about the retreat and what you think about the company as a whole. I was scared. There was fear when I read the email. And I told myself something. Anything that fear is the sole reason why I'm not doing it, I'm going to do it. So I decided to sign up for the video interview at work. That was the first time I ever took that bold move. I was going to try myself. And I was like, if I am that terrible, the company is not going to put it up. And that's the worst that could happen.
That's true. That's true.
And probably I would not even know, because we're so many. I'll probably just never see the video. And that was the first time. I was nervous. According to the guy, I asked him after. He was like, no, at all. Oh my God, you did so great. And I was like, this guy is watching me. That's what I said to myself.
That's true.
But then when the video came out and I was part of the video they were going to put out, I was like, wow, okay, it wasn't that bad. And then I decided that I said, you know what? Maybe I want to do this a little bit more. So the first thing
Imagine.
you have to try yourself, like test yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of
Test
people think they are
yourself.
shy. I think I'm shy. I don't know what you guys think, but I think I'm shy. I might not come across shy, but I think I'm shy. So you might think you're something, and trust me, you might not be.
Yeah. So you never know what you can do except you
You
try.
do it.
You
Now
never know.
walking into a room, like the person said, and you want to network, I let my spirit lead me. I look around for a face that is maybe accommodating or welcoming, or you look for something you guys have in common. For example, me, I'm not going to walk into a room and maybe just walk up to the vice president and start speaking to him. No, I'm not going to do that. But if you are led to do that, please go ahead. For example, I already have my next, like what I'm going to do at the next retreat. When I see the owner of my company, it reminds me of my son. I want my son to meet him. So I'm taking my son on the next retreat. In fact, they call Halloween costume day. So this costume for Halloween this year, I'm dressing my son up as my CEO. how my
Wow.
CEO
I
dresses,
like
because
intentionality.
if you see him,
Wow.
you will never think he's the owner of the company. He comes with a plain t-shirt, face cap. In fact, he puts it to the back. He has a backpack on. He's very chilled. So this year, I'm putting my son in a Sublime t-shirt. I'm putting a cap back. I'm putting a backpack. So he's going to dress
Nice.
as Sublime CEO this year. And I want him to meet my CEO, because that's a very bold move for me. But I already foresee what that's going to do for the company, because it's a retreat. So imagine seeing a CEO being able to relate with the employee's child. That's what I foresee. Well, that is what I'm trying to get out of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So we have somebody else, the art of living with Dara. She has a question here. She says, I have a lot of areas I plan to move through across my life. And it's sort of a plan that I have had for a bit, but none of them correlate honestly. Do you think I should just stick to one, or should I try to explore them all?
I don't understand that question. Can you come
Okay,
again?
let me read it again. Let me come again. Okay, so she says, I have a lot of areas I plan to move through across my life. Okay, and it is sort of a plan. So she's still dilly-dallying. She says that I have had for a bit, but none of them correlate honestly. Do you think I should just stick to one, or should I try to explore them all?
Okay.
So I guess it's something she's still thinking about doing. She has not yet put it down on paper. So she's wanting to know if she should stick to one, or she should just explore everything, all the areas she plans to move through across life.
Okay. So great question, by the way. For me, in my opinion, doing too many things, you only be giving your bare minimum to all of them at the same time. I've tried it. Trying to do too many things at the same time, you're only going to be giving your bare minimum to all of them. You need to learn yourself, learn about yourself in those areas, in the sense that how much can I really do that I'm giving my best in every area. You have, or I would say, we all have so much years ahead of us. You can achieve a whole lot. 1,000 miles starts with just one step. So I would advise you to do it one step at a time. My mind tells me I can do everything right now. But can I do everything right now? No. There are so many opportunities I have lined up for this year. I want to take them. I know I can do them. But unfortunately, I had to turn them down, because I would have to be taking time from what I'm already committed to put into that. The opportunity would come again next year. And if it doesn't, I can guarantee you it's not for you. Because what is for you would come and would stay. So there's so many areas you want to, explore. Great. Write them down. Tick it off one at a time. If you could do two at a time, fine. For example, women in cybersecurity. I applied to be a mentor. I got the position to mentor about 3 or 4 people that want to pivot into cybersecurity. The student board in school. I just got the deputy director position on the student board association. Now, those are 2 heavy things. Plus work. Plus being a mom. There were other opportunities that came my way in terms of cybersecurity associations that they want me to be a part of. I had to turn it down. Can I do it? Of course. Do I want to do it? Of course. Am I interested in the perks that come with it? Yes. But would I be giving my best? to all of them at the same time? The answer is no.
No.
You, at some point, you need to be truthful to
To
yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
So that's my
That's
my
very
answer.
true. Thank you. So,
You
Dara, please, could you just let us know if we've been able to answer your question very well, or if you'd want further clarification, just kindly put it in the chat box, okay? So we have 2 more questions before we call it a wrap. So this person wants to know, what steps can a person take to discover which of their skills are transferable to a new career?
Okay. The steps you could take is investing time in research. An example, I'll use anti-money laundering and cybersecurity. Already, before even knowing what cybersecurity entailed, I had to analyze what I was doing already. I was investigating transactions. I was dealing with romance scams, elderly fraud. If you guys don't know what that means, so romance scams, when people get into relationships for money, you deceive people. Now, elderly fraud, you call the old people, you take money from them. That's what I was doing. So now I analyzed that and I saw that how are they able to scam people? How are they able to defraud the elderly? A lot of them do it through sending an email, calling up the people on the phone. I was able to link it to when I did my research on cybersecurity. Now, you need to know the domain in which you want to pivot into. Cybersecurity is very broad. I wanted email security because I saw that there was a link between what I was doing already and email security. So you need to put in the work. All the skills you have already, you now need to act. It's very simple. You go online and say, for example, you want to pivot into cybersecurity. What are the skills I'm going to need? Attention for details. I already have that in what I do. I cannot afford to make one silly mistake. So I have that already. So that's how you'll be able to, analyze and put together what you already have versus what you need. And guess what? If you don't now have those skills, that is where the learning aspect comes in. You need to develop the skills. You need to do what you have to do to be able to have those skills to pivot into the industry you want to move into. Cybersecurity, what are the skills you need? Of course, attention to details. You need some certifications. You need to be knowledgeable in what you're trying to get into. A lot of people would say, "Oh, I want to go in cybersecurity." For them, it's a money factor. If you don't have some sort of why, if you don't have some sort of passion for what you're trying to do, if it's money is fine, that's your goal. That is what it is.
That's your why.
It's fine as well. Yes,
Yes.
it's fine as well. But you need to know your why. Your whys. You need to know why. So that's how you can, bridge it and say, okay, this is what I already have, and this is what I want to get into. And if they are transferable or not. And if they are not, I doubt if everybody has some sort of transferable skills. And I'll give a little backstory based on this question. When I was interviewing for my current role, is entry level. You didn't necessarily need experience. But for the fact that I had some sort of experience, then my manager kept saying, I kept hearing the same thing even after I'd gotten hired. He said, even people with 3-4 years to 5 years experience, we let them down. We did not bring them on board. And I was curious and I wanted to know why. And he said something. He said, aside from your degrees, aside from your resume, aside from how many or how much certifications you have, you need to fit the culture of the company.
You need to fit the
You
culture
need to
of the
fit the culture
company.
of the company.
Wow.
Meaning, you have to fit into what they are looking for. Or no, not what they are looking for, what they are already.
Exactly. What they
You
are
need to be able
learning.
to, so you cannot just say, oh, I have an interview, I'll prep. You need to do your homework of that industry. You
Yeah.
need to do your homework on the companies you're applying to. One of the things my manager said was, we don't want people that think they know it all.
Mm.
And I remembered when during my interview, there was something I kept saying because I knew I didn't have the experience. I kept saying, I am open to
Open
learning.
to learning. Mm.
I kept
Yeah.
saying it. I said, I am open to learning. I don't like being criticized, but I use it as,
A stepping stone.
no, I won't say stepping stone. I use it as a learning curve.
Mm. I get that.
Yeah, so even if I get feedbacks and
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it, because of course I've never done it before. I'm not going to get it right.
Yeah.
Everybody learns at a different pace. I'm a fast learner, but there are some things I still don't get. So I'm going to get, and I have been getting feedbacks, good and some not as great as I would love it to be.
Mm-hmm.
There are questions you will be asked, and your interviewer or manager can tell if you will be upset
Or not.
or not. The way you're going to answer, you can ask you questions and you'll be like, oh no, I don't like feedbacks. I don't like people telling me what to do. That's not what some companies are looking for. So you can have all the skills, all the experience. They don't want I know it too much or I know everything or you start talking over them. So you need to know if you get an interview and you know who you're interviewing, look for them on their social media. Look for them on LinkedIn. Have an idea
What they're
of
about.
who
Mm.
they are, what they are about. So you need to put in the work.
Wow. You need to put in the
You need
work.
to put in the work.
I hear that. I hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
You need to put in the work. There's no room for laziness.
No,
Zero
at all.
tolerance for laziness when it comes to wanting what you want to get what you deserve.
Right.
Okay, so our final question, let me see if we have any question in the chat room. Okay, we have none for now. So our final question here is, so we know career changes can be very scary, okay? So this person wants to know what were some of the worries you had while changing careers and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so one area that really challenged me, excuse me, I had to pivot as entry level for someone that already had almost 5 to 6 years experience in AML with zero experience in the real aspect of email security. I had to accept the fact that I had to be willing to take a pay cut. So I took a 65% pay cut.
Wow, that's a
Yes,
lot. Wow.
yes, I took a 65% pay cut. But you need to be strategic and smart about it. Because I'm not telling you to go and take a pay cut that cannot cover your bills. So that's one aspect that was really, really challenging for me. As a single mom with 5 kids, to accept the fact that I had to take that much pay cut, I was sad about it. But at the end of the day, how bad did I want to get into cybersecurity? So it was from searching for a job in AML with no progress to either, taking that pay cut. Now, taking the pay cut does not mean you're going to remain there. That's why continuous learning, you need to keep adding more certifications as much as you can. If you want to go back to school like I did, you know that you're going to give or take 18 to 36 months into getting to the next level in terms of compensation. But then there are other things you can now do when you get on the job. For example, you want to level up even from the position you started from. And I'll give an example of tips that I do. I don't want to remain on this position. In the next 8 months, I want something higher. I'm already having those discussions. I am already reaching out to people a level ahead of me and telling them, I would like to shadow you on Fridays. I want to see what you're doing. Feedback from my manager. Oh my God, Ola, I love the fact that you're taking this initiative. Like, you're not just doing your work, you want to know what's after this. My manager is sick. I'm sending him an email. If you need me to take your meetings for you when you're away, I will do that for you. They're already saying that even at the level you're at, you are eager to get to the next level. You're already ready to take responsibilities that you're not even getting paid for. Those are some things you just have to sacrifice if you want to excel and if you want to, level up. So yes, back to the exact question. That's one of the challenges I face, taking a pay cut.
Taking a pay cut.
Yes.
So there are some sacrifices that everyone might just have to make,
of course,
in order to move to the next level.
Yes, of course.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's been a very insightful 1 hour. It's 1 hour already, and it looks like it's just been 5 minutes. Yes,
I know,
it's 1 hour
right?
already. It's been an interesting conversation. So guys, if you're just tuning in again, this is Fireside Chats. Okay, this is our pre-summit conversations where we are geared at ensuring that you have everything it takes to move your career to the next level. The main event is coming up on the 10th and 11th of October. And trust me, you do not want to miss any of the 2 days, because if you have received value from the past 5 weeks, imagine when we have more speakers all in one room, dishing out same value. So if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome once again. And if you've been here over the past 5 weeks, ensure that you let other people know about the value that you have received so far. My name still remains Chidima Olariwaju, and we have had a remarkable speaker called Mrs. Olajumoke Danjuma. I can't wait to meet you in person and give you a hug for this insightful, practical tips that you have given. And really, I must commend you. Thank you for being so practical, and thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for sharing your growth. Thank you for telling us how you did it, because if we can't pay you, if we had to put like a price tag to all this information that we have received from you, I'm sure we'll not be able to afford it. So thank you. But before I let us go, I want us to drop in the chat session, an action plan. What do you plan on doing? As in, I want us to just reflect. What's one action you would take from today's session? Because it's not just about listening, okay, but actually taking charge. So thank you once again. And I'll be handing over to the convener, the person, the elephant. I like to call her the elephant herself, Mrs. Folake Agunbia, the one woman who has made such a remarkable transformation in my own life. I am blessed I have her in my corner. Thank you so much, Mrs. Olajumoke. So I'm handing over right now to Mrs. Folake Agunbia. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Jumoke, you done it. You done it again. Oh my God. I had such an amazing time. I had such an amazing time. If you're in the chat room, please, can you make it rain, make it loud, make it rain all the emojis. If you're on YouTube, make it loud. That was pretty amazing. And I must say, when you said you were shy, I was like, guys, I'm going to tell you how I met Jumoke. I met Jumoke on Clubhouse. Don't go. I want you right there where I'm looking at you. I met Jumoke on Clubhouse, and Clubhouse is an audio app where people don't get to see you, but you get to have really quality conversations. So I had a room on Clubhouse, Psychology Saturday. Jumoke, do you remember? That's about 4 years ago. And that's where I met Jumoke. And You know, I would host that room every Saturday with my host, and Jumoke would come in and I'll be like, who is this audacious lady? She just had so much to say. We will talk about relationships and a lot of things. And that is how we formed our own relationship. I went on to represent other things to her along the journey. But I can categorically tell you that everything she has said today is authentic. That's her real self. Having said that, I want to ask you a question. Yes, you. A good one. Have you shared this live broadcast? If you are yet to share, this is a good time to share. Because the only way we can say thank you to Jumoke is to spread the message of transferable skills that she has brought today. Because people need to hear it. Let's share, comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. It is very important. And Jumoke, I'm going to let you go and say a very big thank you from the CAS community. You have inspired us. There's so many things going through my mind. You know, just having the conversation is reminding me of how I have had to pivot myself. You know, sometimes when somebody's sharing their experience, you now begin to identify your own pivot points. Yes, with transferable skills. And I must say, we can't wait to have you back on the Career Acceleration Summit stage sometime soon. Let's make it rain for Jumoke. Let's make it rain. Let's make it rain.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jumi.
guys. Thank you so much for having me. And before I go, I would just like to leave you guys with something. I want you to remember that pivoting is not a setback. It's actually a setup. And as much as sometimes, you need to take that pay cut or you need to, start from the scratch, entry level, always remember that it is not a setback. It is actually a setup going forward to somewhere you have chosen that this is where I want to move on to.
Wow.
Thank you for having me. I
Oh
appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Oh my God.
And
Thank
have
you
a good
so much,
one.
Jumoke. We'll catch up with you soon. Okay. Now, I'm going to quickly share my own pivot story with transferable skills. And it's very interesting. If you're a call member on the call, you're watching on YouTube, you're catching the replay. My pivot story started at the NYSC camp, 2 days into camp. I was passing by the OBS and, I had someone who was on the console. I'd done a bit of broadcasting before going to camp, but I wasn't a broadcaster. In fact, my first broadcasting gig, I watched CNN to get those skills. I sat down, watched presenters present, and listened to their diction. People ask me, where do you get your diction? I'm in Nigeria, no. I've not lived anywhere else. I'm in Nigerian. But I watched other people and picked those skills and used it for that show. The first time I was running my show, they told me nobody will call. The first show, I had 21 callers. Even the producers were like, wow, we've never seen this happen. And I took that same spirit to camp. I knocked on the door. I said, sir, the NYC official that was there opened the door. I said, sir, this person is yarning nonsense. He's boring us out. I can do better. And the guy said, are you sure? I said, give me 1 hour. I went in at 6. I came out at 9. 3 hours broadcasting. Just doing my thing, vibing, cruising, giving information, just engaging the people. When I came out, there was a crowd of call members clapping for me. They were waiting to see who I was. Now, I took that opportunity and it was a pivot for me because you can trust that a valuable call member cannot serve anywhere rubbish. After that, they can't send me to the villages of Kogi. I served the Lokoja, the city center. And in that same role, I got my next opportunity of, of working with the UNDP project in Kogi State. And that was the foundation to never being out of a job for 20-something years and plus. Now, Jumoke said something very profound as I round up. She said, in pivoting, sometimes it might feel like a downgrade. I had been in my journey of running CAS Consults for about 8 years. And I went to work with a particular organization. I left my own business because I was still self-sabotaging. I had not entered into a level of self-mastery or self-efficacy about who I am and what I can do, what I bring to the table. I've always been confident. But we all have insecurities around our mastery of certain things. So I went to work with this person. First year was okay. I was running projects in millions of dollars. It was development. So there was good money going around. Running projects for my principal. Second year, my principal went into politics and left us in the office. Of course, we were running projects, but we're not seeing shishi. 1 full year, no salary. It felt like a downgrade. Yeah, for that 1 year. At some point, my husband said, they're not even giving you full money. What are you going to go and do in that office? I can categorically tell you that that was another pivot, because the skills I took out of working in development are multi-sectorial in my consulting approach. Because of that, those skills that I took from my principal, from my mentor of blessed memory, nobody can take it away. The tenacity to chase things down and hunt it like a bulldog, I got it from her. Yeah. Shimite Bello of blessed memory. I got it from her. Shimite never took no from anyone. And she'll tell me, Madam Folake, when they tell you no, you tell them why not. You give me what I want or I scatter everywhere. Hello? I got it from her. So you need to be able to ask for what you want. Reach out on LinkedIn. In 2020, all the CEOs were online. They were just chilling, doing nothing because it was COVID. I know somebody who schooled in the South in a nursing school in one dead end at the end of Ibaroke, who reached out to a CEO that I would like to be an offshore nurse in an all-servicing firm. And like play, the man responded. 2 weeks later, a staff was going on maternity leave and they asked her to come and stand in. By the end of that person's maternity leave, she was a full-time staff, earning in dollars. So what's stopping you? If you know the skills that you have, identify them like Jumoke said, build on it, and step out there. Knock on those doors. Because life doesn't give you what you want. You take from it. You don't find opportunities. You create opportunities. You don't wait for life to hand you down the next level. You take it and position yourself. And that is the message of Career Acceleration Summit. So if you are yet to register, I need you to register. Share it as far and wide. I and my 12 amazing friends from across the world will be taking you through our stories. Jumoke shared hers. The Fireside Chat has been stories, and life lessons across board. Let us hold your hand and put your career and your enterprise on the fast lane. Let's change gears together. Because winning together is the best feeling in the world. When I'm winning and you're winning, come on, what are we talking about? If you want to take the UK, take the UK. Jumoke is taking the US. I'm taking Nigeria. Where are you taking? You need to take somewhere. Okay, guys. So register, get people to register. We'll be live at the Raw Materials Hall in Maitama on the 11th of October. I will be waiting to receive you. I'll be excited to see you. I'm going to give you a very big hug because I'm a hugger. And I'm going to cheer you along as we do this together. Thank you for watching today's Fireside Chat. We will be back with Fireside Chat 6 and the final of the chat series on Wednesday. So don't forget to turn on your notification bells so that you don't miss the last one. This one is particularly special for those of you that want to jackpot. You want to, you want to relocate. How do you take the skills that you need to integrate into wherever you're going to very quickly?
Not everybody has to wash dishes or do dirty jobs. All of the family members and people that I mentored are doing fantastically with relocation. They're doing professional jobs. And we want to show you how. We will be ending at this point, but don't go anywhere. We're just going to share some closeout videos with you. And if you would like to exhibit at the summit, reach out to us. You can drop a comment on the YouTube chat. Let us reach out to you. We have stalls. You want to partner with us. You want to be a part of everything we're doing. We have some headline partners. Hello CV will be giving out 1,000 CV resume templates. Studio 24 is supporting this. Our headline sponsor, the FIRS, is supporting the Career Acceleration Summit. Masterminds Culinary Institute is supporting the Career Acceleration. Citygate Solicitors is supporting the Career Acceleration. Tiara Sync is supporting the Career Acceleration Summit. What are you doing? Yeah. If you want to be a part of solving the problem of employability in Nigeria, reach out to us. I'll see you again next week. And don't forget, keep winning, because winning looks amazing on you. See you next week. Over to you, CAS Studio. Bye, everyone. Say bye in the chat room.